Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and today we'll be reacting to another Let's Game It Out video. This one is I use trains to create absolute mayhem in Satisfactory, which is funny because he's been using trains all the time. So maybe this is the one, I guess they added collision at some point. I never actually went out of my way to smash trains into each other. I did see the coffee stain video on it, but I never actually tested it, which is funny because I play that game a lot. But yeah, this is Let's Game It Out's version, so I'm sure it's going to be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, this is the last one in his current series, even though he's about 2 or 3 updates behind now.
Welcome back to Let's Game It Out. We're playing Satisfactory today. My favorite factory game that's all about...
Did he expand the nuclear? Maybe not. Maybe he only showed a few sections of it, because it wasn't like rendering all in, because I only saw like this section. I didn't see the other like 40.
Access. Like you could build a normal factory, but why?
Look at all
you can
those
make
pipes.
Abominations like this. And then when this base gets completely out of control, you can slide your way across the map and make something even more wild. But that's really...
I don't know, that looks pretty normal.
The beauty of this game is take something and make it beautiful in your own way. Like
yeah,
it gives
you
you stuff like drones, which are used for transporting items, or you can make hundreds of them, slap explosives all over them, and then send them all across the map and pretend you're in Top Gun.
So, my question here...
Watch, you're sick!
Is he using a jetpack to slide sideways while it blows up? That doesn't make sense. Or is he on another drone? But they would all be... following each other, right? I guess he could be using multiple characters on a server. Well, I guess he could also be using mods. So he might be using like a fly mod. So there is that.
Oh, and also I sent them all to try and land on one platform. So now they're just waiting forever. A beautiful column of drones into the sky. Anyway, welcome to Satisfactory, where everything in my base is a mess. And in this video, we're gonna try and make that better. Spoiler, we're gonna make it worse. While that's also...
Yeah, I mean, define worse in your case, Josh. It's obviously better no matter what.
Cementing in your brain. Let me tell you about today's sponsor. I've partnered with...
Let's see here. We're gonna skip the sponsor because I can't... There's this like little thing when you upload a video that asks if there's a sponsor in it, but it's complicated if you're a reaction channel. Let's just go with that. So you're supposed to kind of skip over the sponsors. I do recommend though going to Josh's channel and watching it there and taking a look at his sponsor. So it is Paradox Interactive.
Is find a way to get all of these resources from this base, and we're gonna move it over here to something new. Specifically, these beautiful floating platforms. I mean, look at all the lush landscape here. We've got platforms to put...
Did they redo this area? Can't remember if they redesigned this zone or not. Maybe that's why he's over here.
Stuff.
Or
We've got waterfalls.
He hasn't been over here in a
we've
while.
also got all kinds of flora to destroy. Who said you could grow and mine
He's
new
gonna blow it
base?
up.
But don't worry, we have a tried and true solution for that. What do you think of this tree? Much better. And I haven't forgotten about you pesky leaves. Everybody gets a piece. Oh, but there's so much of this to take out. That's okay. I think I have a solution for how to take care of this stuff quickly. It's called explosives. First things first, we got to do a quick test. I realize this doesn't seem like it'll pack a punch, but it should be enough to take care of this little old tree. Here goes nothing.
Yep.
Yep, that sure worked a treat, didn't it? Well, I think we know what needs to happen now. We gotta put these things all over the place. There's plenty to go around.
You're just gonna blow it up all at once.
Is this overkill for one plant?
No.
Like, I could just walk up and do this to all of those. But who wants to do landscaping with their hands? Anyway.
Okay, I've seen one of the recent Coffee Stain Studio videos. It's probably 2 updates back. I'm pretty sure they got a lot of ideas from some of their YouTube creators, potentially Josh being one of them, because they loaded like, like 3,000 explosives on one character before blowing it up.
I'm sure that this will be enough. We've got explosives in pretty much everything. Too many? No such thing. And it's not just up here either. We've also rigged everything down here. These trees are going to be no match for all these explosives. Anyway, here goes nothing. Yeah, take that, all you individual little bushes.
Wow.
Uh-oh, did I miss one?
Wow.
Just kidding. Aw, see, now this is what progress looks like. If by progress we mean combusting everything not nailed down. Yep, that'll about do it. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know, because it turns out some...
You miss some. I mean, you can't break them all, but you miss some.
Some of this foliage is permanent, but that's okay. Anyway, now that we have all this emptied out space, it's time to bring our stuff over. Starting with our desert base, because it's closer. And in case you're wondering, what are we going to do with all of these drones?
Nothing.
Are we going to use them for beautiful transporting? And the answer is no. What I'm trying to say is this thing is like a monument now. Yep. So there's no way we're touching it. That, and honestly, it doesn't matter where in the world you are. All you need to do is look to the sky, and there's Drone-tasia just waiting for you. So you're probably wondering if
the thing goes up pretty high. Like, I thought it went up pretty high before, but man, that goes up really high.
Not the drones. How are we going to transport all of this stuff? Because, oh
one
boy,
single
is there
conveyor
a lot.
belt.
You know, like these things and all of this stuff. But don't you worry, the solution is right in front of us. It's called a tractor. So versatile, so bulky, and we're going to use it to get over this ridge right here. And it's not going to be as easy as just hopping in and driving this thing over everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pretty good at handling some of this, but we can't possibly ask it to handle all of this, can we? Wait, or
that's a terrible idea. The truck system is horrible in this game. At least use trains.
Or can we? Easy. Just watch
the
your
whole point
head,
of
buddy.
having
Nope,
trains.
I take it back. We are nice and stuck. And it's not like we can just start it even closer, because there's no way it's going to be able to traverse all this stuff. But that's okay. We're going to employ the use of another friend. Do you remember these? Jump pads. Here's a refresher in case you don't remember. That's it. They launch you. But the one thing I don't know for sure is if we can use trucks on these. So let's give it a shot and find out.
I didn't even think that was a possibility. You can use trucks on jump pads, maybe?
Here goes nothing.
Okay. So wait, you're just gonna fill up a truck with stuff and then throw it on a jump pad and try and make it over the cliff? Oh, God.
Well, shiver me timbers, it does work. Well, this gives me an idea. If we can get it to bounce off one like that, then why not more? You get to set their overall trajectory, and you can adjust that any way you want. So if I move this so that it's basically gonna land right here, and then I take another one and I place it here, so that whatever's flying off of this first pad will fly right into the air and then land on this one, and then will it bounce up and fly all the way over there? Only one way to find out. Here goes landing on one. All right, let's see if it lands on two. Oh my goodness, it sure does. Well, I'm sure we can see where this...
Oh God, this is gonna be awful. Are you even gonna fill it with stuff?
This is gonna go right. All we need to do is put a bunch of these things all around over here so that they can get us up there. This shouldn't be hard at all. We can just build foundations and then put our little jump pads on these, positioning them in such a way so that we have a good place to put the next one. And then once that one's in position, we just go ahead and set up for...
Okay, these things are not even very accurate on a normal day when you're just using your whole body as a propellant. To get a truck to actually hit these things accurately more than 50% of the time is insane.
The next one. We know where it's gonna land, and then so on and so forth, and okay, hold please.
Oh God. I know this really probably did take
so I was
hours.
working on these for a while, and oh boy, all the things I have to show for it. So many jump pads. I wish this jump pad business was an Olympic sport, because I would definitely get like bronze or like 4th place. Anyway, let me...
I don't know, you'd probably get gold.
Get to the starting point so you can experience the whole thing as it was meant to be experienced. So here's basically how it works. We get in this truck, and then we go down to this first jump pad. And once we do that, it bounces up to here, and then it goes...
Wait, did he try to actually path it, though? I mean, he looks like he's manually going to drive it, which is fine, but I wonder if you could just path it into the first one, then let it wait.
Goes up to here, and then this bounces you farther and farther, and you get the idea. Will this actually work? Only one way to find out.
You've obviously tested this.
Mission successful on the first couple of bounces, leading up to these bounce pads that should propel us forward. And oh boy, do we have a journey ahead of us. But the good news is my horn works. Yeehaw! Well, got a little off kilter there, but it looks like we're back on. As you can see, this is an exact science. What a lovely new way to experience all the ins and outs, the nooks and crannies of this.
I'm gonna guess though that some of this is spliced video of ones that have failed and ones that have actually worked into one giant video that actually worked.
Base.
Which is
oh my
fine.
God, it's going so well so far.
Perfect.
Well, that'll teach me to say anything. And attempt number 2. Much cleaner liftoff this time. I have high confidence. Look how we're landing on each one of those pads. Whee! You know, and you can say what you want, but you sure can't beat these views. Uh-oh. Looks like that's it for us. Nope, no, it's not.
Oh, you got
it only
lucky.
took 2 tries, but we made it
so
up.
lucky.
Yep, the system is perfect. And before you know it, we're catapulting across these beautiful canyons. It couldn't be more simple, except for that one that I really didn't think we were going to make. I would like to take this opportunity to mention that I cannot believe this is working at all. Well, that's what I get for saying that. Okay.
I don't care. The fact that he made it up the cliff for the most part is insane.
Attempt number 553. And then we bounce off the thing, and then it's like, oops, so it makes it after all. Things are going great. I don't know this for sure, but I think one of the challenges is, especially with a vehicle, it's not an exact science. But also, frame rate might play a role in that. But if there's one thing I can tell you,
yeah, I suppose if your frame rate's really good, you might not have any like lag jumps, which could be what was happening here. And because of his special world, it has a lot more frame rate problems than most places.
my frame rate is anything but stable. That doesn't mean I'm not confident we can eventually get this.
Like those random trucks in random places.
This is the farthest we've ever. Never mind. Oh my god, I think this might be the one.
Okay, so yeah, see, I think that was a splice thing because he said that was the furthest he'd ever gotten, and I've seen him get up here. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It looks good and it's funny. So I guess
I think we might make it to the next section. Look at all these successful
That one's
bounces.
actually a good jump.
Life is
Look at that
beautiful.
one.
I set
Ooh,
up
nice.
all of these bounce pads, and for what? This moment, that's what. Look, the finish line. We can see it. Nail it. Nail it. Oh my god, we're gonna do it.
Perfect. Oh, perfect.
Close enough. Okay, so I think we can agree that this is not going according to plan. And like you, I had a dream of trucks just flying fancy-free through the sky. So I think this was probably never meant to be, and I'll show you why. I'm watching this thing from far away, and at a point, something seems to happen. Now,
that's right. After a point, they stop rendering trucks in the distance because then they just run a math scenario for it. So it just deletes the truck unless you're actually on it. I totally forgot about that issue. That's not an issue. It keeps the game from crashing when you have 100,000 items. Sorry, 100 million items on screen, depending on what chunk you're in.
I know from back here it looks like it's fine, right? Looks like it's just hanging out on something. Oh, but that's not the case. It's just frozen in midair. And then as we get closer to it, it just falls right out of the sky. Which leads me to believe that even if we got this working the way we would like it to, there's no way we can automate it. Because if we step too far away from the trucks, they won't keep going. And we can't ride every truck to the end. Oh,
yes,
but don't you worry, we've got a backup plan. But before we move on, we gotta test one thing. We gotta test to see what happens when we launch one of these guys. What's wrong, little guy? Why
Run
are you so
away.
No, you don't get back here. Where are you going? Hey, where are you going? I said, where are you going? Yes, run straight to the bounce pads.
Okay.
Ah, there we go. Fly free, little guy. It's for science. Oh, it's probably fine, right? Don't worry, I'm sure he's just sleeping all the way down this dune. In conclusion,
every
seems like
time
it worked
he kills
really
so
well.
many of
Anyway,
those
we
things.
still need a good solution for transporting all these materials, and I think this is going to be the solution.
Trains with jump
it's
pads.
another train station.
No?
Station 25. We can do better than that. Let's see, I want to say sand and successful. Wait, stop right there. Sand cessful. Wait, still not done. Sand cesspool.
There we go.
Yay, we
Perfect.
did it. We got there. So we've used trains before, not really to actually transport anything. Back in our old base, we actually
still
have a bunch
going?
of trains rolling around right now. They're legitimately here solely to generate electricity, which causes these nuclear plants over here to actually
They're not generating electricity. They're using electricity, right?
work. Because if they have no reason to generate energy, they won't. And if they're not generating electricity, then they're not generating toxic waste. And if we're not taking steps to ruin every part of the environment, what's the point? Anyway, all that to say, back over at this base, we've never tried to use trains for good. I'm not gonna miss an opportunity to build a bunch of rails, especially because where we're building them could use a little more beautifying, don't you think? I know I do. Oh boy, I'm so excited. Especially because I know this will be
Merging it
easy
through
to
everything.
do and take no time at all. And connected. Well, that was easy.
Someone who actually uses the full 2 hours to do something.
I'm kind of showing you the end first, but here we are at our station. Why am I like this? Or as I like to pronounce it, yummy, like this. So this thing here is where our trains will eventually end up. And by that, I mean there are rails everywhere. Coming from the station, going over cliff sides, impossible loops that don't really make sense, and then, you know, all kinds of stuff. This part probably wasn't necessary to get the job done, but boy, it sure is
Reminds me of like the Cars racetrack at Disney.
fun, and it doesn't really improve once we get to the main mess. You can kind of tell which ones for trains and which aren't, because the train ones are just a lot bigger. Either way, before we mess with these any further, let's head back to our starting platform and make sure this thing works at all. Now leaving station sand cesspool. So the first part of this journey is real obvious and easy. We pick up great speed as we enter the big avalanche of stuff. I like to think of this as the world's weirdest roller coaster, full of twists and turns, clipping through the rock face entirely, and in general just a whole lot of
this game needs VR. This would be great for a VR game.
Completely unnecessary twists and turns. But really, what would the point be if it were straightforward? Besides, this gives you a chance to take in all these glorious views, and then eventually you find yourself on the other side. And thank goodness there's no clipping, because I can just build these rails over rails. What a space-saving convenience, with probably no consequences whatsoever. And then before you...
There are mods, if you really like clipping to work correctly, to force clipping to work. Now they have, they made red in the game means you can't absolutely do anything to force it. Yellow means you're clipping through stuff, but they don't really care that much. And green is like, oh, good. But for the most part, yeah, I think it's just a constant yellow stream for his train.
You know what? We arrived at the other station safe and sound. Yummy like this indeed. And if this train were pulling cargo behind it, this little claw thing would unload it before the train goes back on its way. So let's go ahead and finish this track. So the whole thing is one solid loop of amazing cargo management.
You wouldn't have to do a loop, though. You can just have it reverse. Just put another... Well, I guess you'd have to expand the track out a bit, but you could just have it go back and forth. You don't have to do a loop.
Besides, you saw how quickly we did it the first time.
This
won't take long at all.
You don't know. 2 more hours. Oh, okay. What was I thinking? Of course he's going to make it longer. It's going to be all stupid on the other end, too.
And before you know it, ta-da! Track is complete.
I don't know what was wrong
Excellent.
With me. Yeah.
Setting up this behemoth of rails and other crap only took a mere 4 hours. Good God.
I don't know what I was expecting on the way back. I'm so dumb. Of course it was going to be this.
I mean, the good news is I didn't know that this base could get any weirder looking, but it turns out there's always room to improve. So
it doesn't look weird. It looks like the monorail at Disney.
Let's pretend you're this up-and-coming rail car just about to pull into the station. Now you can just keep going and have yourself the return journey of a lifetime, commingling with all these conveyor belts in the most claustrophobic way possible. Wow, what a...
Maybe he's not going through rock faces. He's just jumping between parallel versions of this world.
Palette cleanser. Honey, I'm home. Round trip only took 10 whole minutes. What a thrill ride. Now that the train tracks are all set, the next thing we need to do, we need to take all these materials here that are currently just waiting for something to happen to them, and we need to funnel them all the way back over to the train station. So first things first, I'm adding a freight platform, if we come around to the other side, we can see that it's got ports for us to feed in the goods. That's where the supplies go to get on the train. So first we're going to build a bunch of these things. Snazzy giant containers. Now these two on the right are for receiving items. We're not going to need those because we're only sending stuff out from here, which means connecting this container over to this thingamabob here. And same with the bottom one for basically no reason. There we go. The conveyor belts are running and hungry for supplies. So basically previously we had all of these...
Why'd you even need containers? Why didn't you just use mergers and then, 2 sets of splitters for that with a Mark V conveyor belt? Why would you need a container? I mean, I guess it might make it easier, but you still just have to merge them into that container anyway.
Supplies
funneled through you don't
one
care.
belt already,
which
is this one right here.
Yeah,
Instead, we're going to run these supplies over to that container that we set up. There we go. Now supplies go in, and on the other side, they pile out, conveniently going into our cargo thingamabob so that we can more easily transport everything. What a lovely system we've made for ourselves. Now, the next step is we need to add a freight car, like that. That way, the train's going to pull into the station, deliver to us some sweet, sweet cargo, and then off it goes for a magical journey. And it sure is hauling ass with that cargo. What a harrowing journey it must be going on. And then before you know it, here comes our bountiful cargo. Choo choo. Quickly, use your grippy fingers to take that off my hands. And just like that, glorious supplies. And then the train starts its journey home to get another haul. Well, if one...
They did a really good job building the train station in this game. So just all the little details they put into it. So yeah, I really like
cargo
that.
is good. Surely more is better, right? I mean, really, how many of these can we add? Because I'm just going to keep going until it stops me.
You can go for a while, I think. But I think you just have to... I think it's 1 engine for 7 cars or something like that.
So based on initial estimates, no, there is not a limit to how many train cars you can put on this thing. Like, it's kind of hard to see because it's just more cacophony in here. I mean, I just kept connecting them. And now I think I've got like 146 before I gave up. Because there's a point where I want to keep adding them. But when you get too deep into this stuff, you just can't see anything. So I guess let's see how this does. Hi-ho silver. All of this goodness slowly...
I didn't even know it would move, but you should be able to add more train cars to it.
Pulling into the station. And go ahead and load cargo container number 1. Oopsie daisy, drop it a little forcefully, see if I care. And now moving on to the next one.
Yeah, I was like, you need a freight for
Or not?
each one.
Oh, okay. You're just gonna take the one, huh? Oh, silly me. I didn't set up the station correctly. I selected one load and unload, not all of them like I was supposed to. Well, it's still not stopping, but I think that's probably okay. And you know, I kind of like the idea of using...
Oh. Huh. I thought you had to have... Okay, maybe not.
all of this freight,
maybe it's
all for just one
never thought about
container, followed by 8 bajillion empty ones. Yeah, the more I think...
I don't know, I just thought you had to add... I swear I thought you had to have each freight section with the amount of train cars you're going to have, but I don't know why it never crossed my mind that you don't actually have to do that.
About it, the more I feel like this is the right way to do it. I mean, he's impressed. See? Really impressed. And honestly, so far, so good. It's just slowly making its...
Actually, that actually gives me a few ideas, though, because that means you can do much smaller platforms and then just have it slowly load one forward. It makes the train slower, sure, so it's not as efficient, but you don't have to have these mega train factories in certain locations.
Way downtown.
So that's good
yeah,
to
just
know.
shove that out of the way. It's of no concern to you. It failed where you're succeeding. Come on, you can do it. Push. Come on, pick up some speed. Would these drones say no? I don't think so. They keep climbing. I don't care that you're pulling 8 bajillion cars behind you. I expect you to accomplish the impossible. Oh yeah, definitely the optimal way to be transporting goods. At 1/1,000,000th a mile an hour. Strike that. 0. Are you telling me there were consequences to this? Well, this is stupid. Can't I like get behind it and push
just
or
add
something?
another train
Hey, wait
car.
a minute. This gives me an idea. I will just give it a little push with my own rail. Okay, now remember, all we need to do is give it a little push. Watch out, help coming through.
Yeah, okay. I was waiting for that.
Oh. It would appear we've caused a minor derailment. I mean, most of it's still on the tracks, and the important part is the head of the train felt nothing at all, and is still not moving. What if I send another train in? What's the worst that could happen? Yep, went about as well as expected. Okay, you know what? I have kind of an idea. So this is the thing that's stuck. There's got to be some way to move this, and I think I might have just the idea. Is it possible that we can use...
Just add another... Never mind. Okay.
jump pads for this? So let's go ahead and put a platform
no way
and then
this
a
works.
jump pad. And now with this thing ready to operate, all we need to do is give this a little push. This is going to be easy. So all I'm going to do is set up a rail that's going to go right into this train car. And in theory, if we hit it just right, it should roll back onto this bounce pad and do a little something like this. Couldn't be more simple. But to give this rail some impact, we got to give it a really long running start. How long, you wonder? How about a little something like this? Oh. You know, something that goes up and
okay, like he could have just done it like from here, but he went like 10 down.
Up and up and up. And at the end of it all, there's a train up here just waiting for liftoff.
No.
We're so high up, in fact, that we're eye level with our hyper cannon.
Can we
and
wasted
also so
materials
high up
that is?
we're up here with the fog where the air is thinner. So the question is, once we get up there and pilot this interstellar craft, how fast do we think it's gonna go? Well, let's see. Down the hill we go. Okay, so currently we're building speed, just rounding 200 kilometers an hour. Still climbing. Time to collide.
Okay, you can definitely use
But
jump
why?
pads.
I was only going at the speed of light. Okay, what if we nudge it a little bit nicer? Well, that one down there sure felt it. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case that this thing can interact with the jump pad. But that doesn't mean I don't have some other ideas. Like if we put a ramp right here, what do we think will happen? Well, let's see.
How many times did you just restart?
Well, that was pretty good, but not all the way to the other station good. All right, I got one more idea. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we have to try. Maybe what we need is to give it a nice little nudge. There we go. We built like a crappy little tunnel. And if all goes according to plan, this thing will sail right inside it. Oh, how I love doing research with giant multi-ton death machines. Hey, look, it made it. Even
So, is he just resetting the world? Like every time he fails, is he just saving and quitting? So he gets back in the, you know, gets the cart back where it's supposed to be?
That seems to have done the trick. And now we're going to see if we can try something else. We're going to run this rail right through it. And we're going to see if we put a train down right here, if when we drive this thing, we can just nudge it. And oh boy, we sure can.
I thought you were going to just clip it, but I guess not.
You can probably see where this is going, right? That's right. We're going to build a much larger tunnel than that. We're going to drag it all the way there. Now, we can't do it by hand because the thing has no cohesion. And we can't use the vehicles because that also doesn't work. So
I totally forgot. The whole point was to get this one piece of cargo to the other train depot. I was like, why is he doing this?
Train tracks it is. Ah, yeah, there it goes. Just a quick nudge up an otherwise really long corridor. Easy.
Wow.
Come on, we're just gonna keep on pushing it. Come on, come on, come with me.
I guess this is
That's
working.
Right, keep on pushing. This is not how I thought this would work, but I'm...
Do you know how big this is? How much time and effort to build this thing?
sure happy it is. And then before you know it, we're at the very end of the tracks, and off it goes. I'm sure it's fine. Wow, look at that landing. That almost couldn't be more perfect. This is where it would have ended up anyway. Wait a minute, what the hell is this? How did you guys get in there? Oh, this simply won't do. Now look, I know the cargo basically made it here.
Why is there so many
but it looks
doggos
like
around?
we've got some cleaning up to do. Yeah, run from me.
There's
So I
so
hope you
many.
enjoyed what we did here. There's a lot more to come, but we're gonna cap it for now.
He had to have lured them all here to prep this one little thing for just this little scene. He had to have done that because it's like impossible to see that many around in a little area.
I know I did, and I'm about to. Hey, now that you've got some free time, why don't you go check out City Skylines? You can check it out for free right now. That is, if it's between November 10th and the 14th, 2022. But hey, you never know. Just go
I'm a bit late. It might be free again. I don't know.
look it up on Steam. Maybe it's on sale right now. You don't know. Anyway, stay tuned for more Satisfactory,
usually on sale.
and I'll see you next time. Get over here. Hey there, it's Josh. Welcome back to Let's Game It Out.
Okay. Yeah, that was a lot of work. There's a lot of work with that involved with moving that freight train piece up. Not to mention the 4 to 6 hours of just building the train itself. Which, by the way, should have taken 20 minutes total. Just up and over the hill. Maybe even less time. Jeez. Go watch Let's Game It Out's videos. They are fantastic. Have a good day, everyone.